Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Order of Manitoba Investiture Ceremony. Bonjour et bienvenue, Nana Boju Miigwech. My name is Brad Robertson, Chief of Protocol for the Province of Manitoba, and it is my pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies for today's very special event. For those of you who are newcomers to this building, you are seated in the Manitoba Room, also known as the Chandelier Room. This room is the most beautiful and ceremonial space in the Manitoba Legislature, and it is only used for very special events such as the one we are celebrating today. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the entrance of the official party? The official party comprises of the 2019 Order of Manitoba Advisory Council, followed by the entrance of the Premier of Manitoba, the Honourable Brian Pallister, and Mrs. Esther Pallister. And please remain standing for the entrance of their honours, the Honourable Janice C. Filman, Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba, and His Honour, the Honourable Gary A. Filman. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the Vice-Regal Salute. Please remain standing for God Save the Queen. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, to start the program this afternoon, I am pleased to invite the Honourable Janice C. Filman, Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba and Chancellor of the Order of Manitoba, to bring greetings. Your Honour.
Good afternoon, everybody. And to those of you who are here, Premier, elected officials, ministers, friends, family, particularly our recipients. I say to you, creators and builders, inductees into the Order of Manitoba, welcome to this celebration of lives of achievement, service, and leadership. We are gathered on Treaty 1 land, on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the homeland of our Métis people. But I do begin by acknowledging that the Anishinaabe and Métis people were here long before we knew this to be Winnipeg or to be Manitoba. And this city remains home to the largest Indigenous community in Canada. 20 years ago, the Order of Manitoba was established to honor Manitobans who have enriched the social, cultural, and economic well-being of this province and its people. As you will see shortly, 2 decades have come nowhere near exhausting the supply of Manitobans worthy of this honor. Talented, dedicated, hardworking Manitobans continue to take on the challenge of strengthening our communities, building our capacity for understanding, advancing knowledge, creating and sustaining beauty. Each of today's new members of the Order of Manitoba has made a remarkable effort and achieved great success. But no 2 of them have improved life in this province in the same way. They have been philanthropists and volunteers, knowledge keepers and discoverers, humanitarians and healers, mentors and mensches, and visionaries and creators. To get a sense of the importance of the contributions they have made to this place that we call home, just imagine what would happen if they had not been here to make them and make the difference. How many lives would be poorer, duller, more difficult, even shorter, if these individuals had not been here? Their accomplishments teach us that one person can have a profound impact on our world. The diversity of their accomplishments shows us something else important. That diversity shows us that a healthy province does not just need one kind of contribution to take a single form of leadership. Manitoba is a great place to live because it benefits from the unique gifts of all people, all of those who accept the responsibility to make this place better. So to all the members of the Order of Manitoba, thank you for the long hours, the bright ideas, the encouragement, and the courage. And thank you for all you have done for all of us and continue to do for Manitoba, for Canada, and for the wider world. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Your Honour. I would now ask the Very Reverend Paul N. Johnson, Rector of St. John's Anglican Cathedral and Dean of the Diocese of Rupert's Land, to deliver the invocation.
Your Honour, Premier, Chief Justice, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course a dozen other extraordinary people, 11 of whom are able to be with us today, dedicated to the greater good and to the whole community. As Her Honour pointed out, this is the 20th anniversary of the Order of Manitoba, and we gather on the eve of the sesquicentennial of our province, which draws its name, as does this city, from indigenous roots. These ancient languages were used for thousands of years before ever the first words were uttered here in French or Gaelic or English by people who understood the truest meaning of community and how no community can long exist, much less prosper, unless all its members commit themselves to the greater good of the whole community. You are honored today because your lives display this commitment to community and the willingness you have shown so clearly to use the very best of your gifts and abilities most generously for the good of us all. Your gifts are many and diverse, from marvelous music and the dramatic arts to passion for philanthropy and hunger for human rights. From neurosurgery to indigenous cultural awareness and other rich facets of our life together. Manitoba, our home on native land, where we are all treaty people, is rich in resources of every kind. You remind us that our greatest resource is human, and you challenge us to remember that everyone has something to offer. Only in this realization and with this commitment can we hope to move into a future which is more just for everyone, including the larger community of creation. So I give thanks to our loving Creator, to Gishimanitu, to God most holy, who is merciful and compassionate, sovereign of the universe, for each and every one of you, but also for every single person who lives in this great province, and for everything that each and every one has to offer us all. Thank you most especially for reminding the rest of us of this essential truth as we celebrate and then move together beyond Manitoba 150. Ikusani, miigwech, marsi tapaliv, merci, and thank you.
Thank you, Dean Paul Johnson. Each year during our Order of Manitoba ceremony, we take a moment to pause and reflect on members of the Order who have passed away during the past year. This year, we are aware of 3 members who have passed. Mr. Robert Picken invested in 2009. Mr. Joseph McCons invested in 2016. Mr. Paul Ulbrichtsen invested in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, a moment of silence to honour these members. Thank you. Let us now proceed with the ceremony and the investiture of 12 very deserving, talented, and dedicated individuals into the Order of Manitoba. Dr. Vivian Bruce. Dr. Vivian Bruce had a long, productive career as a professor of food science and nutrition at the University of Manitoba, where she was instrumental in conducting the first research in exploring the health benefits of canola oil, an important development in the ongoing study of the effects of dietary fats on human health. Along with her colleague, the late Dr. Bruce MacDonald, Dr. Bruce succeeded in establishing the unique nutritional properties of canola oil, thereby contributing significantly to food science, whilst also enhancing the economic viability of such key Manitoba crops as flax, canola, and sunflower. Born in Regina, Dr. Bruce attended the University of Manitoba, graduating with a Bachelor of Science in 1953. She worked as a staff dietitian and research dietitian in her home province before returning to the University of Manitoba to earn a Master of Science in Nutrition in 1960. She later earned her PhD in Nutritional Sciences at the University of Wisconsin. From 1963 to her retirement in 1996, she held a series of positions as a teacher and researcher in nutrition at the University of Manitoba's Faculty of Human Ecology. Dr. Bruce published 15 papers in referred journals, and an additional 19 abstracts were presented at scientific meetings. She also received several in-research grants for her work on Manitoba products and their contribution to nutrition, including pioneering work on the properties of flax, canola oil, and sunflower oil. Dr. Bruce remains active in the University of Women's Club of Winnipeg, serving in many capacities, including the chair of the Scholarship Trust Fund, which now contributes $20,000 every year to deserving Manitoba students. Your Honour, Dr. Vivian Bruce. I will read the citation for our next recipient in his absence. Marcel Desertel. A recognised leader in the financial services industry, Marcel Desertel is also a valued philanthropist and champion of post-secondary education in Manitoba and Canada. He earned his BA at the Université de Saint-Boniface, then earned his Bachelor of Law and Master of Law degrees from the University of Manitoba. He practiced law in Winnipeg and held senior positions in government and industry before becoming the President and General Manager of CreditTel of Canada Limited in 1970. Under his leadership, it became Canada's largest business credit information and debt recovery organisation. Mr. Desertel sold the company in 1996 and used the proceeds to establish the Canadian Credit Management Foundation with the purpose of funding innovative new programs at Canadian universities. Since then, his gifts to universities and other institutions across Canada have totaled more than $100 million. Marcel Desertel maintains close ties with Manitoba, including our Francophone community. He has provided substantial gifts to the University of Manitoba and the Université de Saint-Boniface. In 2008, he was inspired by his lifelong love of singing to give $20 million to the University of Manitoba's School of Music, the largest private gift in the school's history. Here, one can find the Desertel Faculty of Music. In 2011, he both chaired and contributed $1 million to the Université de Saint-Boniface $15 million vision campaign. For his role in promoting advanced education in the French language, supporting innovative programs and facilities in law, management, medicine, and music in Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, Marcel Desertel was made a member of the Order of Canada. Your Honour, Marcel was unable to travel to Winnipeg today. In his absence, I will present his name to you and ask that together we all acknowledge his investiture with a round of applause. Marcel Desertel. James Ennis. James Ennis is a celebrated concert violinist who is widely considered as one of the most dynamic and exciting performers in classical music. Born, raised, and educated in Brandon, Manitoba, he has performed in more than 30 countries on 5 continents, appearing regularly with many of the world's most famous orchestras and conductors, such as the Vienna Symphony Orchestra and the Los Angeles Philharmonic. The son of a music professor at Brandon University, James began violin studies at the age of 4. By age 9, he was a protege of noted Canadian violinist Francis Chaplin. He later studied with Sally Thompson at the acclaimed Meadowmount School of Music and at the Juilliard School, the latter of which honoured him with the Peter Menon Prize for Outstanding Achievement and Leadership in Music. James Ennis first gained national prominence in 1987 as winner of the Grand Prize in Strings at the Canadian Music Competition. The following year, he won the first prize in strings at the Canadian Music Festival, the youngest musician ever to do so. At age 13, he made his solo debut with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. James Ennis received the first ever Ivan Galamian Award, the Canada Council for Art's prestigious Virginia Parker Prize, and a 2005 Avery Fisher Career Grant. He has been honoured by Brandon University with a Doctor of Music degree, and in 2007, he became the youngest person ever elected as a Fellow to the Royal Society of Canada. On Canada Day 2010, James Ennis was appointed as a member of the Order of Canada. James is a prolific recording artist whose work has been honoured with many international awards and prizes, including 2 Grammys, a gramophone, and 6 Juno Awards. Your Honour, James Ennis. Kathy Hildebrand. Kathy Hildebrand has been an active volunteer in the Winkler community for more than 35 years. She is the co-founder and president of Hearth Families Incorporated, an organisation that helps new immigrants get settled in the area and strives to protect and preserve the parental and traditional rights of Christian families. Her organisation also addresses issues that affect family values, such as alcoholism and addiction. Through her work with Hearth Families, Kathy Hildebrand has worked countless hours in helping immigrant families get food, clothing, shelter, while also connecting them with local programs that assist with the development of English language skills. Her mentorship includes helping family members start their own businesses, while always encouraging clients to give back to the community. Her leadership has inspired established immigrant families with small businesses to increasingly hire new immigrants. Committed to the growth and prosperity of her community, Kathy Hildebrand has also given substantial time and resources to such organisations as Habitat for Humanity, the Stanley Agricultural Society, various community roundtables, and her local church. She is also the community liaison between the Winkler homeschooling community and Manitoba Education and Training. In 2018, Kathy Hildebrand received the Premier's Volunteer Service Award for outstanding work in her community. Your Honour, Kathy Hildebrand. Arvid Lo. A dedicated athlete and selfless humanitarian, Arvid Lo retired from his 31-year business career to turn his attention towards competitive long-distance cycling to increase public awareness of the needs of orphaned children in Kenya. Since 1995, Arvid Lo has cycled more than 400,000 kilometres, successfully competing in world-class ultra-marathon races, including twice cycling the Race Across America, considered to be one of the world's toughest bicycle races. His 2011 Guinness record-setting ride from Vancouver to Halifax was achieved in just 13 days, 6 hours and 13 minutes, based on 90 minutes of sleep per day and 20 hours of cycling per day. Over the years, he has partnered with many individuals and organisations to ensure that his events are underwritten to maximise the funds raised to support the orphanage. Through his efforts, he has already raised more than $5 million for the Mali Children Family Orphanage in Africa. A popular speaker, Arvid has used his writing platform to give motivational talks to audiences of all ages. He continues to inspire others to make the world a better place, especially for abandoned or marginalised children. Earlier this year, he cycled the first kilometre of his celebration ride, which honoured the first child rescued by the Mali Children's Family Orphanage in Africa 30 years ago. Arvid has stated that it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes the world to support that village. And today we recognise and thank you for this. Your Honour, Arvid Lo. Barbara Nepanak, Nijopene Sikwe, Two Thunder Bird Woman. A member of the Pine Creek Ojibwe First Nation, Barbara Nepanak continues to make her mark on Manitoba as a cultural awareness coordinator. She is a member of the Standing Indigenous Advisory Committee of the Canadian Museum of Human Rights. Fluent in her ancestral languages, she assisted with the systematic process of language reclamation and retention through her work with the Manitoba Association of Native Languages. She is a past member of the Special Advisory Council to the Winnipeg Police Chief, for which she has twice received the Med Citizenship Award for her contribution. She is also the co-founder and coordinator of the Thunder Bear Dance Troupe, a First Nation performing group formed in 1992 that has since gained national prominence. She encourages cultural awareness among young people through her working partnerships with schools. Barbara Nepanak is a recognised, respected elder in her community and beyond. She is also a water protector through the water ceremony that is her cultural teaching to share. Every winter, she has made bannock for locals and tourists who visit the traditional teepee situated at the Forks. Barbara Nepanak has earned many honours for her achievements in promoting cultural awareness. These include a recognition award from the Interprovincial Association of Native Employment in Manitoba for her support of Aboriginal employment and her contribution as a positive role model. She has also received the Knowledge Keepers Award from the Circle of Educators, as well as being honoured as part of the organisation's Keeping the Fires Burning program that honours elders. Barbara has aptly stated that her role is to create opportunities for reconciliation through conversation. Your Honour, Barbara Nepanak, Nizo Pine Sikwe, Two Thunder Bird Woman. Clarence Nepanak, Nijur Sigenu, Seven Eagles. A member of the Pine Creek Ojibwe First Nation, Clarence Nepanak is actively involved in promoting cultural awareness in Manitoba and across Canada. He is a recipient of the Knowledge Keepers Award and the Queen's Golden Jubilee Award for their shared efforts in preserving and advancing Indigenous culture. Clarence Nepanak has served on numerous boards and councils, including the Vancouver-based Healthy Aboriginal Network, the Elders Advisory Council at the University of Winnipeg, the Indigenous Peoples Education Circle at Brandon University, the Indigenous Advisory Council for the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, and the Cultural Advisory Council of the Circle of Life Thunderbird House. Clarence Nepanak provided Ojibwe language commentary for APTN's coverage of figure skating at the 2010 Olympic Games. He launched Anishinaabe First Speakers, a company that provides cultural insight through speaking engagements. He also works within the Heritage Language Program in both the Seven Oaks and St. James school divisions, providing cultural awareness of the Ojibwe language classes. Involved with the Forks Heritage Program, he provides walking tours every summer and has been instrumental in providing the appropriate cultural, ceremonial handling of remains and artefacts at the Forks. Clarence Knack is a traditional jewellery maker who hosts sessions in traditional teachings such as the meaning and building of teepees and the important role of teaching in families. A popular master of ceremonies at Aboriginal cultural events, Clarence Knack is the co-founder of the Thunder Bear Dance Troupe, while also giving its youth participants valuable insights into traditional teachings and cultural practices. Your Honour, Clarence Knack, Nijor Sigenu, 7 Eagles. Stephen Shiver. An accomplished director and renowned arts advocate, Stephen Shiver was the longest-serving artistic director of the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre, having led the renowned theatre organisation for 30 years. His talent, vision and collaborative spirit have enriched the artistic community in Manitoba and Canada. Stephen Shiver assumed the helm of the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre in 1989, a time when the theatre was facing artistic turmoil, declining attendance, fiscal strife and board acrimony. Under his leadership, the organisation stabilised and continued towards sustained fiscal artistic excellence, including the establishment of a major endowment fund to help offset operating costs. The fund has since been renamed in his honour. During his tenure, it became the first Canadian theatre to receive a royal designation in more than 100 years. Under Stephen Shiver's stewardship, every year the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre staged 10 plays on 2 stages, a wide range of youth programming and a regional tour of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. The organisation also stages a major playwright festival and produces the Winnipeg Fringe Theatre Festival. The Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre connects annually with more than 300,000 Manitobans. Through his vision and direction, co-production partnerships have raised the profile of the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre brand, attracting new productions to Winnipeg. As an example, he was able to bring the smash hit play Come From Away to Winnipeg, and the Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre's craftspeople even built the touring sets and props. Stephen Shiver has earned numerous awards for his achievements and dedication to the arts. In 2012, he became a member of the Order of Canada in recognition of his contribution to Canadian theatre. Your Honour, Stephen Shiver. Trudy Schroder. Executive Director of the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, Trudy Schroder continues to make significant contribution to the arts and cultural development of our province. A skilled arts manager, she succeeded in bringing the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra into the black for 11 consecutive years following decades of financial deficits. Earlier in her career, she worked for the City of Ottawa in the field of cultural policy development, arts facility development, heritage preservation, and business communications. She came to the business of arts management through a love of music and performance. Upon moving back to Winnipeg in 1996, Trudy Schroder worked with the City of Winnipeg on researching and drafting its cultural policy review and a number of other cultural initiatives. She became the Executive Director of the Winnipeg Folk Festival and saw the organisation through a decade of great growth and development as an artistic, economic and tourism asset to our community. She is currently in her 11th season as an Executive Director of the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and she remains committed to fully engaging the power of great art to the benefit of the city and all of its residents. Trudy Schroder holds a bachelor degree from the University of Winnipeg, an ARCT from the Toronto Royal Conservatory of Music, an Arts Administration diploma from the University of Ottawa, and an MBA from the University of Manitoba. She has been active in community organisations, boards, and national arts advocacy and sectoral research initiatives. Trudy Schroder has been recognised as a woman of distinction by the YMYWCA, has received the Mayor of Winnipeg's Voluntary Service Award, and in 2013 was the recipient of a Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. Your Honour, Trudy Schroder. Harvey Sector. Harvey Sector is a successful business, community and academic leader and former Chancellor of the University of Manitoba. After earning a Bachelor of Commerce degree from the University of Manitoba in 1967, he guided the growth of Ricky's Canada Limited, a family retail business, from a 10-store chain to a multi-divisional national operation of 150 stores. He pursued his business career until 1988, when he returned to the University of Manitoba to study law, graduating with a gold medal. He then pursued a Master of Law degree at Harvard University, later becoming a visiting researcher and instructor at the school's program on negotiation, where he helped teach courses and workshops in negotiation and mediation. He was an instructor of the University of Manitoba's Faculty of Law from 1995 until 1999. He was appointed Dean of the University of Manitoba's Faculty of Law in 1999, a position he served with distinction until his retirement in 2008. In 2010, he was elected as the 13th Chancellor of the University of Manitoba, re-elected twice and serving for 9 years. An active community philanthropist and volunteer, Harvey Sector is a past president of the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba and is a current member of the Premier's Economic Advisory Council, the Health Sciences Centre Foundation, the Assiniboine Park Conservancy, and serves on the United Way Advisory Committee. Harvey received an honorary doctorate from the University of Winnipeg, a Distinguished Community Service Award from the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg, and, with his wife Sandra, the Negev Award for community service. Your Honour, Harvey Sector. Joy Smith. A former teacher, MLA and Member of Parliament, Joy Smith is recognised as Canada's leading anti-human trafficking activist and a leading advocate against human trafficking and women's rights worldwide. Over the years, she has helped countless young victims who have been exploited or trafficked by their abusers. Inspired by her son's work as a police officer in the Integrated Child Exploitation Unit, Joy Smith began giving seminars about protecting children from internet predators. Moved by the personal stories of exploitation victims who had reached out to her, she entered politics to help enact laws to protect these victims and punish their abusers. During her 11-year tenure in Parliament, Joy Smith made Canadian history as the first sitting MP to amend the Criminal Code twice, passing Bill C-268, Mandatory Minimum Sentencing for Trafficking Children, and Bill C-301, which extends Canadian law into other countries where Canadian citizens or permanent residents exploit abroad. Joy Smith also wrote the prototype for the Canadian National Action Plan to combat human trafficking. She also led the development and passage of Bill C-36, making the purchase of sex illegal in Canada, thereby reducing the demand for human trafficking. She established the Joy Smith Foundation, a registered charity to help support increased public awareness of human trafficking and increase support for victims of exploitation and to raise funds for shelter organisations. In 2015, Joy Smith retired from Parliament to volunteer full-time for the Foundation, which now focuses on exploitation prevention. Joy Smith has received the UN Women in Canada Recognition of Achievement Award, the My Canada 2009 Hero Award, the Winnipeg Police Service Commendation, and a YWCA Women of Distinction Award. Your Honour, Joy Smith. Dr. Michael West. Dr. Michael West is one of North America's most accomplished and internationally recognized leaders and pioneers in neurosurgery. Through his leadership, he succeeded in assembling a world-class neurosurgery program at Manitoba's Health Sciences Centre. In 2003, he was the first to introduce gamma knife surgery in Canada, a procedure used to treat malignant and benign brain tumours, vascular malformations, Parkinson's disease, tremors, and neuralgia. Since that time, more than 3,000 patients from across Canada have benefited from this technology that allows a faster patient recovery time, less pain, and fewer post-surgical complications than traditional cranial brain surgery. His technique is in fact so non-invasive that most procedures are treated on an outpatient basis because the procedure requires no incision. Other Canadian cities have followed this lead in opening gamma knife surgery centres of their own, improving patient care and saving lives. Dr. Michael West personally invested many hours outside of his professional life to research and raise funds to bring this new technology to Manitoba. He continues to work with the Health Sciences Centre Foundation to bring newer and better equipment to the province to improve patient care. A practicing surgeon and teacher, Dr. Michael West has also brought distinction to Manitoba by introducing techniques and equipment for radiation oncology that provide non-invasive treatments for brain lesions. In 2016, he was appointed Associate Dean of Professionalism and Diversity at the Rady Faculty of Health Sciences College of Medicine at the University of Manitoba, the same university from which he originally earned his medical degree. Dr. Michael West has earned many teaching awards and authored or co-authored more than 100 scientific publications and invited lectures. He's been an examiner in neurosurgery for the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. He was a member of the Accreditation Committee of the Royal College and has completed a 7-year term as chair of the organization's Specialty Committee in Neurosurgery. Your Honour, Dr. Michael West. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 Order of Manitoba recipients. Before I invite the Premier of Manitoba to the podium, it was remiss of me earlier to not acknowledge the presence of the former Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba, the Honourable Philip Lee, and Mrs. Anita Lee and family. It is now my pleasure to invite the Premier of Manitoba, the Honourable Brian Pallister, to bring greetings and recognise these deserving recipients on behalf of the province. Premier.
It's an impressive day, isn't it? And a great day to celebrate these fine Manitobans. Congratulations again. Listening to the list of accomplishments was memorable. But Arvid, I've got to say, I know about the 90 minutes of sleep part, but the 20 hours a day of cycling is that's an incredible thing, isn't it? It is a tremendous honor to be with you all today and to celebrate as 12 fine Manitobans are inducted into the Order of Manitoba. As you know, the Order of Manitoba is our province's highest honor, and it recognizes individuals who have demonstrated excellence and achievements that have benefited so many people in an outstanding manner in social, cultural, and economic well-being. Comme vous le savez, l'Ordre de Manitoba est l'honneur le plus important dans cette province. L'Ordre existe pour reconnaître des individus qui ont démontré l'excellence et la réussite qui bénéficient dans une manière extraordinaire le bien-être social, culturel ou économique de Manitoba et ses résidents. The Manitobans recognized here today unquestionably exceed that standard. As I watched this year's recipients being inducted today, a number of thoughts struck me. First, the diverse nature of their backgrounds, their ethnicity, their occupations, their pursuits, their remarkable achievements, both individually and as a group, are truly representative of what Manitoba is as a province. They perfectly reflect the tremendous diversity of our beautiful part of a beautiful country, and the rich cultural mosaic that makes us so strong as a society is the envy of the world. We celebrate that today. Secondly, I was struck by the incredible range of their accomplishments, from business to the arts to cultural and community activism, public service to science. Incredible. It reminds me of the greatness and the achievement that can be measured in so many different ways. And finally, in addition to their tremendous talents, each of today's inductees have also devoted significant time and energy, not just to themselves, of course, but to helping those around them. And it reminds us all today that each of us, too, can make a meaningful contribution to our province and to our fellow Manitobans with the skills and the passion and the experience we each possess. To each of our inductees, I say this: you have each impacted the lives of your fellow citizens in such an amazing and positive way. Your leadership, your contributions, your accomplishments are truly an inspiration to all of us. Chacune de ces 11 Manitobains ont impacté les vies de beaucoup de leurs concitoyens dans une manière tellement positive. We are all so very, very proud of you. On behalf of all Manitobans, I convey to you today our thanks, our appreciation, our congratulations, and I say a sincere and heartfelt, well done. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Premier. As you can appreciate, there are many people involved in putting on an event such as this, and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank some people who have genuinely gone above and beyond to make today's event a success. As I call your name, I'd like you to please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Miss Karen Masterton of the Protocol Office. Miss Nancy Boomer of Communication Services. Miss Kate Gamero, Miss Lisa Vermette, and Miss Sonia Stubler from the Office of the Lieutenant Governor. Mr. Todd McClash and his building maintenance staff. Mr. Keith Grift, Miss Toby Brown, and the News Media Services staff. And last but not least, our talented pianist this afternoon, Mr. Rick Yarish. On behalf of the Protocol Office, I thank you for doing the heavy lifting that makes my participation much easier. A round of applause for these individuals, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we are near the end of today's ceremony. After we sing O Canada, you are certainly invited to stay and visit and enjoy some refreshments which will be available at the back of the room. For those of you who are first-time visitors to the Manitoba Legislature, please feel free to walk around this magnificent building, which I reiterate is the most beautiful legislature in Canada. Please rise for the singing of our national anthem, O Canada, to be sung in the language of your choice. This concludes today's ceremony. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.